Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Billion Dollar Banker podcast. We are excited to have Amber Fernicola, top producing and award-winning realtor at Keller Williams Realty in Spring Lake, New Jersey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm very excited to finally be on your show.
I should mention Amber is also my sister because we've had a little bit of fun banter going back and forth since you've arrived.
Yes, I have to reiterate that I don't normally talk to people the way I talk to my family, which is, I think, true for most.
It's so sweet the way we communicate. But we're going to do a good job here today on the show trying to not fight with each other. But fair warning, we could have a couple arguments, so you might need to just get comfortable with it. I'm sure you all fight with your siblings too. So you were at a golf outing. We were both there today, but
yes.
you were working it yesterday for Jersey Shore Chamber.
Yes, the Jersey Shore Chamber of Commerce, and it was a beautiful day. And I've never set foot on a golf course until yesterday, but it was fun.
So you got to tell me, who did the signs yesterday? Because I was golfing with the director. And and whoever was putting the sponsor signs up, we were jokingly fixing them as we continued to move around.
I think it was the golf course, like the caddies, like the boys that, I don't know, are those called caddies?
Who won?
I don't know. I need a golf 101.
You do. You should have took a little bit of a class beforehand.
Well, some guys did help me learn how to hold a golf club.
And how did you do? Did you hit the ball?
I hit the ball. I made contact and it went straight. And I heard that is the first step, right?
Yep.
So
your outfit was on point. I mean, I wish I had a picture. I wish I had a picture. Actually, I might have a picture.
Follow me on Instagram. You could find it.
Actually, Charles, if you could change the put us up here, that would be amazing. This was Amber yesterday. I mean, you would never know that she wasn't a professional golfer by that. But for those of you watching today, if you want to follow Amber, she's her handle is Amber NJ Realtor. And if anyone's looking to buy or sell, she's a great resource for you. And we're actually going to talk about one of the listings that you just recently had, because I think that's a fun way to start. And we want to get to know you, have our audience get to know you as well. But tell us about this beautiful listing that you just got under contract.
So this was in Brielle, and we actually just went into attorney review this morning. So this was a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom. Completely done to the max, built for a family. I mean, so this is a property that my clients got.
These are repeat clients of yours?
Repeat clients,
okay.
Yeah, and it was land, and then they built with a builder that I recommended, and they built the house custom to their needs. They are, unfortunately, I'm going to miss them. They're moving out of state, but they will be very happy with what they're making off the house, to say the least.
Good. I love the windows. Who was the builder, by the way? Do you remember the name of the builder? Frank Angelo.
He's in Brielle. He's also moving out of state. So,
oh my gosh, everybody's getting out of here. Time to get licensed in Florida.
But actually, but it's a beautiful video too that my videographer Jin Woo did, and I think that really
highlights it, right? Let's take a look at that video real quick as we scroll through Amber's.
There was a couple. This is just a reel, but
this kind of takes you through
the music.
You know what? That's a good question. I don't think it does, because we're
I'm very proud of my music choices. So
you do actually put some great music on them, and whoever's doing the video work is amazing as well. I like how it takes you through the whole home. Really gives you that feel of getting a virtual tour.
Yeah, it's worth every cent. I have a couple videos, and I've worked with him before. And, when you're selling $1 million and over, and even under, it really matters how you present the property. And I think this portrays the value.
Yeah, agree. And I want to get into, because I want to talk to you about your history in real estate and how you got started, and we'll get there. But since we're talking about this listing, how many days was this on the market for?
I had it coming soon for 5 days, and then they went live on Sunday, and we had an open house on Sunday. So we gave people a preview for 5 days so they could see it, and then they can make plans to come on Sunday. My clients specifically have 4 kids, so it's a lot for them to get the house clean and get them out of there. So we wanted to try to cluster showings to make their lives easier.
That's great. And Charles, we could put the amazing $1 billion banker sign back up now. I I think we're done showing pictures of Amber. So that's awesome. Congratulations. So let's talk about you a little bit, Amber, because part of our mission here at the $1 Billion Banker podcast is to inspire and motivate and to share stories about successful stories about entrepreneurs that are in any kind of business and how they got started and what they were passionate about. So like we want to share like failures, success, whatever it is, but tell us about your background and how you got started in real estate.
So I went to college. I graduated from Rutgers, and then I went to work in HR and pharmaceuticals. And I realized quickly that the corporate life was not for me.
Because you can't be controlled pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, working 9 to 5, looking at the clock, saying when am I going to be out of here? And I was like, I can't live my life like this. So I did some freelance recruiting, and then I got pregnant with my first son, and then our mom, stepmom Teresa, had said, "Why don't you get a real estate license?" And so I took the class, and I had my baby, and I went to go work for a broker, and I realized quickly how much I love this, and I thought it was going to be some part-time thing, but I realized too about myself in the process that I don't really do anything part-time. It's either all or nothing. So I had a knack for it. My first deal was a short sale that was so hard. I think it was like maybe the house was worth like $250,000. It was like nothing at the time. But I had some really good guidance and I ended up running with it.
And so I know Carter, shout out to Carter, but that was he's 13 now. So that was like 13 years ago.
13 years ago. Yes. And then I started doing it full time and I quit recruiting and I just gave real estate my all and had my second son, Noah. And now it's just real estate's been really rewarding, and it's also been extremely difficult, but at the same time I wouldn't be able to be a mom at the same time as being there for them the way I am.
Yeah, I think like not to get too personal, but I think it's pretty amazing, like as a single mother, what this career offers you. And there might be a lot of listeners out there considering different careers. And while a lot of people are not getting out of real estate right now with everything going on in the market, I think it's still a phenomenal career for people to enter. Would you have any words of advice for someone looking for a different path? Or, maybe someone that was in a similar position as yourself to try to find something that had the flexibility that you needed?
Yeah, I mean, it's not always flexible. Do, even though it is conducive to being there for your children and your family, the reason I have been successful is because there have been times where I would just run off the beach with my kids while they were still babies to go show a listing, because you just do what you got to do. I remember carrying my infant to appraisals and, so it's not ideal, but as a single mother, I did what I needed to do to make sure that my boys and I were going to be okay.
Right.
So advice is it's not for the faint of heart, and it definitely requires a ton of determination, resilience, and foresight and believing in yourself.
Right. I think that's that last one, like believing in yourself is key, because there's these moments of where you get rejection or things aren't going your way, or it's taking a long time to get things going. I mean, the sales cycle in and of itself can be long, from the day that you find a buyer or the day that you get your first short sale to the day you close.
It can take like a year for some people, and you just can't. You don't give up on them. You don't give up on yourself.
And now, you're extremely successful agent, award-winning, as we mentioned in the beginning, now with Keller Williams. What made you choose Keller Williams?
So a lot of the agents in my area who I really respect and like working with, who have done very well, were there, and I was wondering why they were there and why I was not. So I had some conversations with them, and after talking to them, I realized I needed to be among people, specifically women, who I really respected and admired, because for some reason they're all under this Keller Williams umbrella, and I wanted to surround myself with people who are doing better than me, because I think that that's how you grow. I think if you stay a big fish in a small pond, you can get complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing I never want to do. I don't think anyone successful remains complacent.
You know, that's kind of like, you know, when I think about anyone subscribing to this podcast or anyone that comes on the podcast, it's like, it's kind of like trying to create this community of people that you look at and say like, wow, like she's a successful realtor. She did it with 2 young kids, you know, 13 years later, she's doing great. So you're kind of getting those ideas and those anecdotes from people, and you're looking around, you're saying, wow, like these people are so successful. So I love that you said that, because you know, it is really key when you're thinking about what to do for a living or who to surround yourself with. And I'm sure you've loved the experience you've had at all and learned at every brokerage you've been with
absolutely.
and from everyone. But
I took I mean, I just recently reconnected with my old broker who was running a company that I was with. And I still remember the words he told me, you know, as a small brokerage. And you just take everyone's energy and pieces of them with you as you continue down your career path, and I still thank them for this day, even though I'm not with that brokerage anymore. I still gained a lot.
Yeah, it still was a part of your development and who you are today. And yeah, that's huge. You never burn bridges. Never. Always exit, you know, the best way you can. So you know, you're not only a realtor, a top producing agent at Keller Williams, but you also are involved in the Jersey Shore Chamber of Commerce. Can you tell us about what you do locally for that organization?
Yeah, so I've always been a big proponent of small business, and we grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, and my father has owned his hotel, and then before that, so I have a lot of friends who own their own businesses and restaurants. So I do believe in small business and staying local. So I was linked up with the executive director of the Jersey Shore Chamber of Commerce, because there was a lull in real estate where it was a little slow, and I knew I could have been working more, doing something. So in addition to real estate, I started working for them just a couple hours a week, and mainly doing their events. And I mean, I've loved it. I've met so many people. I think Black Swallows actually are definitely a member now. Yeah,
actually, that's a great example. So you being a part of it was how I ended up saying, you know what, I want to get involved again.
Right.
I remember going a long time ago, and then I actually met Eric at Black Swallow at the Business Expo.
Yes.
And when I saw their concept here, I was like blown away, because it's just an amazing studio where you can come and instead of us going to lunch and having this conversation together, although I know you know, if this was an initial conversation, it's great to share it and repurpose it and send it to many people instead of just one another. So the chamber the Jersey Shore Chamber is a great way. If you're a local business professional and you're looking to grow or meet new professionals, you don't have to join right away, right? How does it work?
You can come to any event, and every Wednesday we have a coffee connector at Blend on Main in Manasquan.
I want to get Chef Lou on the show.
Yeah, you should. He's great.
Dude, he's a good guy. So this guy he's the owner of Blend in Manasquan, and he came on actually one of the last breakfast meetings we were at. He was saying how everybody needs to be doing social media. He's like, I don't care if he was talking about how he was scrolling through TikTok and like a plumber was like fixing something. And he's like, I just caught myself like watching this plumber fix this like piece of pipe for like 5 minutes. And then he had this epiphany, and he's like, you know what? He's like, I need to do something like this. He's like, if plumbers are doing it, like I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And he does it. And he does it in his kitchen on a Saturday night. And he has like
hundreds of thousands of people watching him live in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So he's not taking any extra time out. He's just doing what he does for a living.
He's not spending any money to do it.
Yeah. So we need to get shout out to Chef Lou at Blend in Manasquan. Hopefully we can get him on to talk about what he does.
Can, meet him and enjoy his delicious breakfast on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. if you like.
8 a.m. Even though I thought it was 8:30 for a very long time.
But it's
you're
usually typically late. So I feel like it's
a little
not a big
bit.
deal.
Yeah.
But the chamber is a great group of people. They're so supportive of one another and really like supportive. It's like a family, like a business family.
Yeah, I love that.
I loved everyone I've met, and I look forward to more events.
And come join us. Join us there. It's a lot of fun. So, let's Are you, I'm vaguely recalling, are you involved in, you live in Brielle?
Yes.
You were just recently, and I was with you in the Brielle and Manasquan magazine, right?
Yes, we were in that publication.
And I wish I had like a picture or something. I might even have a picture here to pull up.
Instagram.
So tell us about your involvement in Brielle. Are you still a part of the local board, I think, that you were a member of, or?
Yes. So being that I was born there and now raising my boys there, I'm involved a lot in the community. I was recently appointed to be on the planning board, which is extremely interesting, and it really, I'm happy to serve my community in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, I mean, Brielle is like a whole constant town full of events and community outreach, so it's nice to be part of all of it. We just recently started Female Forward Alliance, which my good friends Courtney Gilmartin and Jennifer Obstuth, Erin Augustine and Danielle Gibbs started, and it's a nonprofit that we are really honing in on local needs for people that actually need things, like not like Red Cross, like, people who are really like in our community and needing things. So that's been a really great organization that we just started.
Do we have any, and I got to get them on as well, because I would love for them to share a bit about the organization. Do they have any upcoming events? Or you guys were just doing a diaper drive, right, recently?
Yes, for Love Lifts Us Up for Donna Scalia, actually. And I met her through the chamber, and she was saying how in the hospitals like Jersey Shore, and these babies are, either one coming from low income to no income families and or sick, needed diapers. And I'm like, that's the most, it's like it should be like it's like a basic need. Like, how do you not have enough diapers for a baby? So if they're easy to get, everybody can pick up a pack of diapers. So I started this drive. Female Forward facilitated it also, and we collected in just like 2 weeks almost 1,500 diapers.
Wow, that's just incredible.
And I still have more at home that I have to get. But so if anybody wants to pick up some diapers, size 1 and newborn is what they need.
That's great. I love that. And you know what, Charles, I wanted to show the magazine that our family was recently in, but Amber put this together. This was, rooted in Brielle, love of the Jersey Shore. Brielle, New Jersey is like a magical little town. For those of you that are in Monmouth County, you know what it is. But for those of you that may not live in New Jersey, and you come to you've all heard of the Jersey Shore, maybe not for reasons that we want you to have heard of it.
Jersey Shore, like fist pumping.
Yes. But this is Amber's 2 boys, Carter and Noah, and Ashley, our sister, and our parents right there. And the article was really great. It showcased our family, Amber's background, and just her involvement in the community. So really cool that you did that. And so member of the planning board, you are involved in the Jersey Shore Chamber intimately in helping them grow. You're a top producing realtor, and you have all these initiatives for fundraising through Female Forward Alliance, which you've been really involved in. So just, it goes to show you that, no matter whatever you do in business and life, it's so much about people. It's about giving back. It's about connecting. And I know there's some weeks where you're out like 4 nights a week, just connecting and networking and meeting people. And what advice would you give to listeners out there that, maybe trying to figure out how to meet new people, or the importance of it?
It is so important. I mean, part of being, and I think maybe in any sales, although I don't consider real estate sales per se, I consider it more, it is like I don't know how to explain it. I'm like an advocate for my seller or my buyer, whoever I'm working with. But it's important because your relationships with people will dictate how smooth or how difficult a transaction will be. Whether you're trying to get a plumber to come and help out something last minute, or if you need a painter ASAP, or if you need your mortgage rep to be like, okay, I need this right now. I mean, everything is a crossover. You know, you never know who you're going to need.
Mm-hmm.
Even my printing guy,
Mm-hmm.
John at
Yeah.
Atlantic Printing. I mean, I need like, you know, things because of our relationship, because I've always had a really great rapport with him. He'll do things
Right.
like that for me.
Right. So it's about like the team that you build around you to serve your clients.
Yeah, you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm. It's like actually a real estate agent isn't even like the best name for what you do. It's like a real estate advisor is better. Like because you're that central hub that connects your customer with everybody, from mortgage to the attorney to the title company to the marketing teams and anything in between that's needed to get done, like around the house to get it ready for listing, staging. So there's so much, but you know, a lot of our listeners are probably wondering like what's going on in the market. And, you know, basically, you know, one of the biggest changes is that first time home buyers are having a really tough time in this environment. And, you know, what would your advice be, you know, to a first time home buyer, someone that's kind of sitting on the sidelines right now thinking about their first home purchase?
You just have to jump in. I think a lot of first time home buyers were waiting, back when those rates were, you know, 2.5%-3%, and it's probably not going to, we're probably not going to see that for a long time. I mean, you're the expert there, but I don't foresee that happening. I can tell you this, it's sure better than renting. So, you know, right now you're throwing money into someone else's pocket.
Right. I always say rent is 100% interest rate. That's the interest rate on renting.
Right.
It's
you're
100%.
Building no equity. You don't own anything. And, you know, I think that I work with I work with first time home buyers all the time. And, you know, there have been times that we lost out on a couple homes, but you just, as an agent and as their friends that I've become, like, it's important that we stay diligent. We help them, guide them what to do, how to make the best offer, how to present themselves the best. And a lot has to do with their agent.
Absolutely. You
got to pick an agent that is like going to go the extra mile, be able to show you the house as soon as it gets on the market, make contact with the listing agent. A lot of agents will just like throw an offer at the, you know, email it, no contact, no questions. And you know what? When I get multiple offers like that and I don't talk to the listing agent, the buyer's agent, and, you know, they're competing, guess who's warm and fuzzy? It's the person I have a relationship with, the person who called me.
So choosing an agent that has a good reputation in market and
who knows local market, who knows people in local market, who knows other agents.
Important.
So important.
You know, so when I think about first time home buyers too, and I think a lot of the stuff you see on the news is like, oh, it's less expensive to rent than it is to buy. And a lot of MSAs you see like, you know, the price of renting something is actually less than on a monthly basis buying something today. And I think that does a really big disservice to our business when they just make the comparison based on monthly amounts, because the reality is they're not taking into consideration appreciation, which is massive. I mean, homes are probably appreciating how much per year would you say? Is it like 5 to 7% a year?
That's typically 5 to 7%, especially around Monmouth and Ocean County. Yeah, I can't speak for the rest of the country, but I am very knowledgeable with the Monmouth and Ocean County markets, and we've done nothing but appreciate in the past, I think, 10 years.
Yeah. And now for first time home buyers, we have like these amazing programs, like the NJHMFA program is for first time home buyers, and then first generation homeowners, which is pretty incredible. So, you know, they're able to basically get down payment assistance up to, I think it's over $20,000. If you're a first generation, down payment assistance program will provide $7,000 of down payment, closing costs, and assistance. This is offered in addition to NJHMFA down payment award for first-time home buyers, which is $17,000 to $22,000. So you can get, if you're a first-generation buyer, you could get $7,000 plus up to $22,000. So it's incredible.
That's a lot.
And you do have to be within a certain income bracket within your particular community. And Charles, if you could put this up, I'm just going to show the income bracket real quick, because I think this is a big one. If you're interested in buying a home and you're like, oh my gosh, well, I don't know if I can afford it, interest rates, whatever. Well, if the state is throwing almost $30,000 at you to do it, I mean, most people are probably have a family size of 3 that will include, a young child.
Mhm.
And so this is 100% of the area median income and 115% of the area median income. So say right here, if you're buying in Monmouth County and you're a 1 or 2 family household, and you're making 130,000 or under, you can qualify, and you're a first-time home buyer, you can qualify for down payment assistance up to $22,000 for being a first-time home buyer, and another $7,000 if you are a first-generation homeowner. And then if you're a family size of 3, $150,000. So I think the income limits, I don't know, they're pretty reasonable. You could qualify to purchase a home in Monmouth and Ocean County on that kind of an income, right?
For like a 1 or 2 family, yeah.
You could find something in the price range that's right for you, if you're earning that. We're closing a lot of these loans, so it's definitely something to look into. If you're looking to purchase a home, you can reach out to Amber or myself, and we'd be happy to tell you more about the program. So, moving on from this, Charles, we just want to kind of go through like some information on just the state of the market. So tell us about what the local market's like right now.
So I have found, and I think a lot of my colleagues have found that, anything that's $1 million and over is taking a little longer to sell than it has in the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Although my recent listing definitely does not support that. So, I think what's happening is like if builders are building spec houses that don't have the bells and whistles, and they're trying to maximize their profit, people are waiting. They're not like jumping and throwing money,
right?
Just because. The market for first-time home buyers and even around the 500 to 800 range is still competitive. I'm still seeing multiple offers.
We only have I think, is it like 1.5 months of inventory in the in the market right now or something like that. It's not,
it's low inventory.
I know I was talking to a realtor down in Tampa, Florida, and he said the inventory is like robust. So it's kind of unique to this area that we're having this inventory crunch. Any reason you've seen, like, have you talked to people that are looking to sell that are not for some reason? What are they saying?
People are locked in at a super low rate. Then they say to me, well, where are we going to go? I'd love to sell. I know my home is worth X amount. I know I can get, this amount, and they want to maximize on their profit. But then they say, where are we going? So that seems to be the conundrum for a lot of sellers who are on the fence about selling. I've
seen you do some stuff from technology obviously is continuing to change the way that real estate agents do business and mortgage lenders. And I've seen you do some things at some posts about when you have buyers that are looking, like you'll throw it out there to your community. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do in those instances to try to spark the inventory, and also how social media and that connectivity is playing a role in changing the environment?
Yeah, I mean, so I have some people who are looking very specifically for properties, either in a certain neighborhood. I have a buyer who's looking specifically on the water in Brielle, and there's only so much waterfront, right? So I put it out there in my universe, and I reached out to a couple of my friends and people I know who live on the water to see, because you never know. People have neighbors, they have this, they have that. And I actually have done almost a dozen private off-market sales for buyers and sellers.
Okay. That's really good to know for buyers that are out there, because
because there's no competition then.
Right.
You're not dealing with having to get into a bidding war with 20 other people.
And so back to like who you know, right? Like,
exactly.
Not everybody might know people that have waterfront properties they could reach out to.
Right. And I've showed him a few, like probably 4 or 5 off-market properties.
Wow.
And they're not on the market now. The sellers were like, listen, if they want to buy it, feel free to show. And that's how that went. And then I've had a few successful off-market property, because some people just they want to remain private. They don't want their info blasted all over the internet. And,
yep.
We live in a small town, so privacy is very important to a lot of people. And I've always honored that. It's been my Girl Scout code kind of honor.
Yeah, no, that's important.
Trust is really important.
It's like you're the vault, right?
Right.
So, in Brielle specifically, I saw recently that there's a couple like restaurants that are for sale. Do you have any insight into that you could share, being on the planning board, of like what people can do? I saw Duomici's is, I believe, for sale, and is the whiskey lounge.
Yes.
Yeah, now it's
well, I mean, as of right now, they're
available
for sale. I believe they're for sale still.
I saw them on LoopNet. I mean, I could double check, but
there's still zones that would have to be a restaurant. They both have liquor licenses, so that's I would believe go with it, but I don't know specifically.
It'd be interesting to see if there's some other types of development that
right now they're zoned for what it is, commercial. Okay. I think that they would have. I don't even know. Actually, I don't want
to speculate on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just thought it was
Corinne
interesting.
Might be watching and the attorney and being like,
we're going to bring her on pretty soon, and so hopefully maybe she could talk about.
Yeah, she might be better at
some of that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you think? What do you think about like the future of the market here? Like when you obviously your brokerage does classes, and you have so many. You're an amazing agent. You have so many amazing agents around you. Like, what are you guys speculating this summer market's going to look like into the last few quarters of the year?
I think higher end homes are going to soften with the prices. I think that they're going to, remain high on the higher end, but I don't think they're going to creep up much higher unless you're on water. Only because there's so much waterfront. I think that inventory is still going to be problematic for people until they start moving out of state and or divorce. It's always a thing, like divorce, death, or downsizing seems to be the 3Ds that help drive people to sell at this point.
So it's people are selling. If they're selling, it's because they have to, right?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things I wanted to show you and our listeners, and I have a whole podcast that we did about this, but on the screen here you'll see there's something called a temporary buy down, and so for anybody that's thinking like, hey, I don't want to buy right now, or I don't want to sell right now because of where rates are. We have this ability when you can structure an offer with a seller's concession to take that seller's concession to buy down the rate, but you're only buying down the rate for a period of time. So like, let's use this. This is my favorite example. This is like one of the most aggressive ones. But so let's say you can get a customer that's selling their home for $1 million to cut back $16,704 in a concession, right? They're still satisfied even after they cut that back with whatever they're taking, right? So you've offered them an amount they're comfortable taking home, but they're willing to cut that amount back to the customer. Well, we take that amount and we use it to buy down the rate for 3 years. So the buyer gets into the home at a rate of 4.25% for the first year, 5.25% for the second, and 6.25% for the third. So now when you look at the monthly savings, year one, the monthly savings is $684. Year two, the monthly savings is $467. And year three, it's $239 for a total savings equal to the same amount that the seller gave.
And this is for any buyer?
Anytime you can
buyer? Or
no,
anyone?
anytime you can get them to agree to a concession, we could use that concession amount to buy down the rate.
Okay.
So like you could tell a customer, I could get your rate of 4.25% for your first year.
It's okay.
That's the reality. We could get a rate of that. So if someone's like, Amber, I would love to sell my house, but I'm just not going to sell it right now because, I don't want to pay high rates.
Right.
Rates are in the 7s. You can explain to them that there's a way to get a lower rate. All we have to do is when we make an offer, get a concession to buy your rate down.
A seller concession.
A seller concession. Yep. So yeah, it's a really good product for people that are like, oh, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and wait a little bit. I mean, obviously inventory is an issue, but maybe we can free up inventory a little bit if people know, like, hey, I know you might leave a 3.5% rate, but like, I mean, 4.25% is not that much higher than, so the Mortgage Bankers Association is projecting that like the end of 2025 that we're going to see rates somewhere in the 5% range. Okay. So what I've been telling everybody is like right now, if you get a mortgage, it's just temporary financing, really. Right. So you're going to have to pay a little bit more for a little while, but, right.
And people also should remember that they're making, depending on, their, how much equities in their home, they're making, they're coming out in the positive, right, with equity. Yep. So
what can that money do for you, kind of a thing?
Right.
That extra
so
money.
It's like people are, 5% is not a bad rate. That's normal. Right. It's the age of free money
was an anomaly, right? Like I think that like we can't compare it to like 3% rates anymore. Like maybe 5%, 6% is like a normal market, 4 to 6.
You just refinance.
Right. Right. So a lot of our clients we're talking to about today, I mean, the average 30-year fixed mortgage is like 7%, but there are strategic ways to make some changes. So, aside from that, like obviously when we partner up, we talk to customers about things like this, but any comments on like the NAR settlement and some of the changes that are happening? Like anything you want to share with the audience about it? Because it's just like all over the place.
I know.
And it's like, is it more hype than like anything else?
Like the media does all the time. It's just hype it all up. And I'm not going to die on that hill because I don't want to misinform anyone, but I believe that in August, New Jersey still has to approve and or make some sort of changes to that law specifically. And second, it's always been the seller's agents who decides how much to pay out. Nothing has changed except that now on the MLS, I can't say to the buyer's agent, I'm going to be paying you, 3% or 2%. Are we still going to pay the buyer's agents?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
you're going to choose to on your listings.
I mean, I think most of us are going to, as most of the agents colleagues that I know are going to. I think it's a bunch of hype. There will be changes, obviously, but it's not detrimental, and you're still in a better position to use a realtor than to not.
Right.
And
well, actually, that's a good point. And up here on the screen is it says, so you're ready to buy a home. Here's the next 111 to-dos that you have. And this was put out by Newswire. And so like this is a roadmap. If you're a buyer and you decide not to use a agent, like you got to do your research, you got to get home ownership goals and budget, you got to make your offer, negotiate it, start your home search, prepare for closing, prepare for financing, facilitate the closing. I mean, the list goes on. Negotiate your offer, set up your post-closing activities. I mean, so these are all the things that like a buyer agent helps you with, right? And it says here that after surveyed, that it's no surprise that nearly 9 out of 10 home buyers say they're still going to use an agent to purchase a home. So you'll have your buyers sign an agreement now moving forward.
Yeah, so we have a buyer's agent agreement that, it's always existed. We just never really, I know I didn't really enforce it because I didn't feel the need to. Now it's going to be required. So that's the only difference. And
that'll just state what your compensation is.
It just states that, I believe it states that, I represent the buyer in a transaction. We don't know what the compensation is because we don't know what house they're buying and what the other listing agent's paying out. But it also solidifies the fact that you're their advocate now. So your best interest is
you're representing that. Yeah, that's why you're representing them. And all these things up here on this list, which I think is a great list to give to home buyers, so they really understand, like, just that it's no surprise why people will use an agent, is because, you know, I say after almost 20 years in the mortgage industry, there's no way I would buy a home without a realtor. Just even for the fact that, like, all the facilitating that you guys do along the way, from home inspection to appraiser to attorney communications and going back and forth, and you know, sellers disclosures, and it's like, it's incredible the amount of work you guys do.
I mean, even as simple as reminding them to turn the utilities onto their name. You know, when you're in the process of moving and packing up a bunch of houses, like, you're not thinking about, oh wait, did I shut off the gas?
Right. Did I get
do
that
I do that? And or, you know, everything. It's just there's so many moving parts.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, so I'm glad we showed that. I just wanted to show it up there quickly. And, you know, Amber, just want to, like, talk about just some closing thoughts from you. You know, when you think about, you know, for people out there listening, right? You know, whether someone's out there thinking about buying or selling their home, why do people choose you?
I think from what I've been told on all of my reviews on Zillow, I think most people feel that they can depend on me. They know that I'm extremely responsive. I have an amazing colleague, Jennifer Osborne, who is like my saving grace sometimes. So if I'm not around, or, you know, if I can't do something, Jennifer is right there. I'm dependable. I'm responsive. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it.
Yep. I
keep them calm. I'm a sounding board. I go the extra mile. I show up to every appointment, every showing at my listings. I really don't want my people having to turn on a light switch. They do, but it's my job.
Right.
You know, and
so you take that off their plate.
Yeah. I really want them to be happy with me and to use me for their next transaction, or to tell their friends or their family or their parents. And I want to visit them when they have their first child, or, you know, if their mother needs to downsize, I want to be there for them.
Yeah.
These are things that I think that has aided in my success. And
a lot of your clients, I know, I can attest, become your good friends.
They do. They all become friends. And I love integrating new families into the area. It's very rewarding, and I feel very lucky.
You can look at Amber's reviews here on Zillow. If you're, we'll put them up on the screen real quick, but 59 reviews, 5 stars, you know, tells you a little bit about her background. You could see all of her past history of sales and check out that market that she covers there, all of the listings. We talked about that property that just went and is pending now, which is great news. And so, you know, look, we wanted to come here today, and I invited Amber to kind of share about not only just the community, but about who she is and what she does. And I think our audience is all the better for hearing from you, Amber. And I'm really glad that you came. And thanks for being nice to me, because I mean, I wish Charles could come here and just tell a little bit about what you did behind the scenes. But
I didn't do anything.
No, you didn't. It wasn't that bad. It's normal for us. So
well, I'm very proud of Nicole. Obviously, anyone who knows her knows she's like a force to be reckoned with, and nothing but amazing things everybody says about her. So I'm in good company with my family too.
Same. We're lucky to have that little pod together. So look, if you know someone that's interested in coming on the show, the $1 Billion Podcast, it would love to have new speakers, new guests to join us. We're so excited that Amber came here today. Please like and subscribe below. Make sure you go follow Amber. We saw her handle, Amber NJ Realtor, over on Instagram. And any comments, questions that you have, please leave them here. We would love to answer them for you. If you're a buyer or a home seller, reach out. You know how to find us. We're all over the internet. Yep. So we look forward to helping you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks for coming.
All right.